Welcome to the Stellar Blade review breakdown. We have over 100 reviews. I've checked out most of them and I have a lot of key information. This is going to be your number one source for all the extra details that you really need when it comes to reviews. Just note there will be no spoilers, and I'm just trying to give you guys the key information that you're here for, that you want to know when you want to see if you want to buy a game or if you want to get more excited like me about the game, and it should be a fun ride. We have first things first, I want to talk about is the settings and get into some quick details so you can know what you can get out of this game more or less and make your life a lot easier. There's three different game modes when it comes to this settings. You have performance, that's at 1440p in a solid 60 FPS. By the way, all of this specific text talk is from the guys over at Digital Foundry. Okay, so I'll check their information. I really like using them for the specs. Then we have quality mode at 4K rendering, but it's at 30 frames per second. So I'm not sure if you guys are going to be interested in that. I mean, it is what it is. It's your choice, right? And then last but not least, the most interesting one is balance mode. Balance mode is something that they recommended. They said that it goes up and down between 1080 to 1440p, and then the FPS is between 40 frames per second to 60 frames per second. They said this is the most interesting one. This is well done. Personally, I like performance mode when I play video games, but you can't discredit them and their hard work with their tech tests and everything that they do. So feel free to do what you please. I'm just giving you the information, and hopefully you guys figure out what you like. Leave it in the comments if you're already playing the game. Personally, I'm going for performance. Okay, now we got that out the way because I think that's probably one of the most important things for people. There is HDR as well. So that's all of the settings information that you might want. Now, for the people that are looking for how long is this game, does it have extra content and all of that good information, it has 20 hours or more for the main story. If you just stick to the storyline and don't do any side quests, don't explore some of the open areas and any of that good stuff, you're going to end up playing 20 or so hours, is what a lot of the reviewers are saying. But if you're gonna go and do side missions, you're gonna check explore and unlock everything, it's gonna be 40 to 50 hours to 100% the game. And this is for those people who already platinumed it and have it finished. So anybody that is into that, there you go. 50 hours, not so bad. That's a pretty short game when it comes to current states of open world games. And I like that a lot, in my opinion. And by the way, if you're watching this, I do have a combat guide and some overviews you can watch after the video is almost over. So to help you, because we're not going to get into every detail of combat, we're not going to teach you these things. Today is strictly for the review information for everybody that wants to just get the key things to what to expect. Okay. Now we're going to get into a little bit of the gameplay. First and foremost, this is a Earth that has been ravished. A lot of bad things has happened, and you're trying to figure out what's happening. You're Eve, the main character, and you're sent as a soldier to basically help reclaim Earth. And in that process, you're going to be uncovering what's happening. And then, of course, the really deeper conversation is what it means to be human. And that's going to be a big thing in this game, as well as metaphors for religion, as you guys seen a lot of Christianity with Adam and Eve and all of the different metaphors that are in the game. So that's a big theme for the story. We're not spoiling any stories, by the way. This is going to be a spoiler-free breakdown. That's as much a story that I'll actually share. I'm going to share the open world and the gameplay and things that you can expect. And when it comes to combat, we do have the combat guide, but the breakdown here is that it's God of War Ragnarok, Sekiro with a little bayonet style to it. And I think that's the biggest compliment you can give a video game. First of all, Sekiro and God of War are two masterpieces. And then you have, of course, some style from Bayonet, and that is very much to me big time compliments to say about the game. And I want to go through what you can expect as far as activities. There's the NPCs that'll give you quests, and what I'm hearing is that there's a lot of like fetch quests and simple stuff when it comes to some of the side missions and things like that. But they will be everywhere, as well as these mission board quests where you're able to do specific things targeted, and they're kind of like challenges. Okay. Now, there's three main areas in this game that I want to touch on that is going to be very interesting. And one of them is the linear stuff that we played in the demo, where you're going to get ambushed and there's special rewards if you explore, which is something we've already seen more or less through the demo. Then there's the open areas. It's kind of just a big small mini open world type of thing where there's many enemies, of course, many objectives, puzzles, fishing, chess, and so much more. And you're going to be able to do that as well and make sure you can 100% the game if that's what you're into and how you want to go about it. And then there's the ranged areas. It's kind of like forcing you to use the range weapons, which is actually very cool. I don't mind that, changing up the gameplay. And so that's going to be interesting to see how that functions, and we'll see how that goes once we get our hands on it. And from what I'm hearing, as far as story, just to end this conversation when it comes to the combat, is that the story's well put together and there's so many twists, and people are really loving that they felt surprised by some things and they really interesting with the game. Okay. Now, I want to talk about a few just random notes that I'm looking at. The game has some amazing sound and music. Of course, the visuals are incredible, but in people's opinion, the music is so good that they were fishing and they just stood there for a while, just enjoying the music. So I said, "Hey, man, that's always nice when video games take the time to give us something special." So I'm interested, very excited about that portion of it, and I cannot wait. And what we're going to do right now, I'm going to take a quick pause from this to give you guys a quick visual on the actual Metacritic. This was me running through all the information. You can see it's at an 82 at the moment. It's still only about almost 100 reviews, and there's a lot of hundreds in here. And then there's people who drop it down and lower it. I want to just go down just a little bit to see. And of course, you got to remember that sometimes people just review bomb this stuff just to be ridiculous. There's a lot of 80s and a couple hundreds and a couple of 90s overall. To me, an 80 is a win. An 80 is really good. Even a 70 can be a fun game. So as you can see, IGN gave it a 60. Oh man, I'm at 70. And so I think that's comedy sometimes with the reviews. And still more to go, but the point is that's what they got going on right now. And I just wanted to put that in the video so that you guys can get that key information on what's going on with this game. But I wanted to talk about the concept of this game and the overall experience from everything. I've done a lot of research, a lot of homework for this, guys. So we're gonna have some guides. I'm gonna play through this on my stream, and I wanted to share my experience. First of all, it's a very special experience. I wasn't expecting to really love this game. Um, I was like most people, kind of skeptical. It's like, oh, here goes some boobs and some butt. It's like that's not really for me. And then as I kept watching trailers, I'm like, wait a minute, this game looks good combat wise and story's interesting. And the truth is that it has some special elements to it. And I believe that it's going to build a nice fan base who's going to appreciate this combat because it does have deliberate combat. So you do need to parry, you do need to be able to stay in control and have the right mindset where you're not just hacking and slashing, where you're going to use your parry, use your abilities proper. I have a combat guide, and the footage you're watching is actually from one of my YouTube partners here. Cloudy Chip his actual fights, but you'll see me perfect parry and perfect dodge a lot more, guys. But the point is this combat is really nice. Some the enemies are creative. I feel like we're gonna find some special bosses, and there's somebody who said in one of the reviews that some of their new favorite boss is in this game, and that's a big compliment for a game to be able to provide something like that. And so I honestly am very excited about that portion of it and to get into what the game is offering. It has a good skill tree, it has a decent build system. It's not going to be revolutionary for the build system, but you can swap out some things and it's still very good for casual people who don't want to make crazy builds like I do in my RPG games. So that's something that I'm very interested in and I think that overall the world is special because you're discovering what happened to this planet and then you're also discovering about yourself and humanity and what it means to be human. And then they have all these deeper, conscious conversations that are super interesting for me and that I'm excited to, you know, explore and find out more about. So for me, I think it's great. I think it's going to be a great time. But I'm just curious on what people are feeling about this game as far as your thoughts and your opinions. There's no wrong answers. I'm not here to convince you to play it or not play it. I know I'll be playing it on release on my stream, but share in the comments what your thoughts so far about all of these reviews and these impressions from what they've said so far. For me, the information that matters is settings and all the other stuff. So please let me know what you're thinking. And by the way, go ahead and watch my combat guide, which is popping up on the screen right now, as well as the overview guide. Have all that information plus some new stuff is going to continue to pop up as we discover more in this game. Hope you guys enjoy. See you there. Peace.